himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here, but I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it! Big Barry! Good evening and welcome to the Triple Bypass Racing League, the Holy Rollers Hot Sauce 105, sponsored by the number 78, Ben Harkham, round 3, live from Texas Motor Speedway. I am James Parfitt alongside Canton Sportac in the booth, bringing you all the action here from Texas. 1.5 mile oval, 58 feet minimum wide, and it's got a 750-foot radius. Banking 20 degrees in turn 1 and 2, 24 degrees in turn 3 and 4, 5 degrees on the straightaway, and the front stretch is over 2,250 feet long. It's a long circuit. It's not our normal shaped, a D-shaped oval. We do have square edges along that start-finish line there as well. But I tell you what, let's bring Kenton Sportac into the booth and have a quick chat with him before we look at the scores. Kenton, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Excited to take a nice drive around in Texas. It's always actually an interesting raceway as it has that little bit of more squared off, kind of like Charlotte.
Yes.
It's a little different track.
It definitely is. As we say, today is sponsored by the number 78, Ben Harkham, guys. And if you want to get yourselves involved, they've got 4 nights of racing. The Sunday is the Gen 4s, and Tuesday late models, Wednesday road racing, and Thursdays is the Nextgen. But what we're going to do, we're going to take a short break, have a look back at a recap from last week.
On September 2nd, 2023, the Triple Bypass Next-Gen Series revved its engines at the Bristol Motor Speedway for race 2 of the 12-race season. The 200-lap contest unfolded with high speeds and great driving, featuring 5 different leaders and 6 lead changes, all in the backdrop of Bristol's iconic high bank track. Claiming victory in a spectacular fashion was Zach Roethlisberger, who started in 3rd. The 93 car's performance was flawless throughout the 200 laps as he led for an impressive 172. His fastest lap clocked in at 14.6 seconds, showcasing his speed on this challenging circuit. Mark Herzog in the 57 car secured the 2nd position in this thrilling race. He ran near the front all night and finished just 3.3 seconds behind the leader. Number 91, Chad Bear, claimed the 3rd spot, demonstrating his strong performance on the Bristol track and scoring 34 points. Chris Hannigan and Justin Hazlitt followed closely in 4th and 5th. With just 4 cautions for 21 laps, Bristol saw some long green flag runs and a green flag pit stop for most drivers. In the end, only 4 cars finished on the lead lap in what was an intense night of driving. As the Triple Bypass Next Gen Series continues, fans can eagerly anticipate more thrilling races and fierce competition among the talented drivers. The series promises to deliver more unforgettable moments and exciting showdowns. We hope you enjoyed this recap, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, there you go. That was a recap from Bristol, where Chad Bear took the victory with Mark Herzog in 2nd place. We are in for a absolute cracker. Let's bring you up the top 10 in the championship standings at the moment. Chris Hannigan is out in front now. Very own Chris Hannigan as well. He's done some commentary with JPB before. He's out in front by 75 points. 1 win, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s. here as well. Zach Roethlisberger in second, only 1 point back, mind you, with Sean Bradley in third on 67. Keith Hanlon in fourth on 63. Al Corey and Jeff Slaughter, what a name, in tied fifth place on 60 points. Then you got Ben Harkham and Mark Herzog on 57, tied in seventh with Jason Benson in ninth on 54, and John Campbell, our very own JC, in 10th on 51. We haven't got long left here this evening. We have entered into qualifying once more before we get this race up and running. Kenan, what do we think is going to happen? Bristol. Not Bristol. Oh, God blimey. That's because I just watched the recap. Texas here this evening. What do we expect from Texas? Because, you know, we've seen a few go round in the practice session, right? A few people have gone round. What do we think overall is going to be happening here?
So with this track, it's very interesting. It is very fast. It is that 1.5 miles. They did lower the banking on turns 1 and 2, but they made it wider so you can try and carry a little more speed through there. Your exiting of turn 4 is going to be your big deciding factor kind of on how how that next lap's going to go for you, because a lot of people seem to come out of exit or out of turn 4 and they sort of get on the throttle just a little early, and because it's squared and not rounded, it's a lot more jarring of a corner to come out of, because you immediately then are going into kind of a hard left, sort of kind of coming off of that, and then you go up a little bit higher again, and then you have to cut back down to go back up again to make actual turn 1. So it makes it a little trickier through the front or through the tri-oval aspect of it. And as you can see here, yeah, that wall, it just comes up a lot faster because it's not rounded and it's very cut and squared off. So it does make it a little tougher on this sort of track, and it kind of eliminates a lot of the opportunities to sort of go too wide through there and make it a little fairly tricky. So you have to be smart about when you're cutting up on the inside of someone or on the outside, because there's just it's very thin through there. It's not quite as wide as the corner, so it does make it just, you know, that little trickier to try and work your way through.
Yes. Well, let's see how they manage this one, because as I say, we have seen a few incidents and accidents take place, and you just saw the problem there with Mark Herzog, the 57 in and out car here as well, driving around in that Camry. What is Mark going to do here this week? Well, we are going to find out within the next 45 seconds when we get up and running once more. We have got what have we got? 16, 18, 19 drivers on the grid this evening. You know, that's quite an epic field to be taking around Texas. These guys are generally nice and clean. We don't have to worry too much about the fact that, you know, there's going to be a load of cautions. We generally don't see lots of cautions. But, you know, Texas, though, do we expect a few cautions, you think?
I'd be shocked if we didn't see at least 2, maybe 3, and not even a case of, you know, anyone bumping someone out or anything like that. Just more so that tri-oval aspect of this track. Like if you go in too wide into those sort of, I guess, not rounded, pointed off, I don't know what to call that, squared off-ish, octagonal shape, there we go. It does make it just that little trickier going too wide there. And if you're especially nearing the end, when people are really pushing to try and grab the win there, if you go 3 wide, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. So that section, I think, will be the biggest issue, and it's just going to be a case of, you know, getting on the throttle a little early coming out of turn 4 and making that contact with the wall, and it might send you down into the grass, and that could bring out the flag. I don't really see this group having flags based directly on just driving into each other or anything like that.
I fully agree. Let's have a look at the grid. Chris Hannigan is out in front with Ben Harkham in second, Matt Perezzini in third, Al Corey in fourth, Keith Hanlon fifth, Jason Benson sixth, Mark Herzog seventh, Carl Gretsch in eighth, Sean Bradley ninth, Dustin Barton 10th, John Crotchley in 11th with Andre Schultz in 12th place. And then on from 12th, you got Matt Harmon in 13th, John Campbell 14th, Derek Cap 15th, John Creedler 16th, Chris Melton 17th, Brandon Hinton in 18th, and then Morris Bogan in 19th. Now, I do have to correct myself. I did say earlier on Chad Bear won at Bristol, but it was actually Zach Roethlisberger. So I got that a little bit wrong there as well. But, oh well, you know, corrected it. Good old Zach. Yay. Right. Oh, well, yeah, come on. I'm only human. I'm not AI. We all make mistakes. You know what I mean? Chris Hannigan is going to lead them off for this pace lap. The man from JPB doing the job on the track at the moment, getting that pole position. How important is the pole position going to be here this evening? Are we looking at the same things we always talk about? Pole's great, not essential.
Yeah, pole's great, not essential, basically. This isn't, you know, Dover, Bristol, a racetrack like that where it is a little harder to pass because it's so small and you're never really hitting top speeds. With this, it's the first, I'd say, okay, we got 105. You're looking maybe the first 70 are going to be kind of just maintain, stay in touch, and worry about it from after that kind of thing in terms of getting yourself really near the front to make moves. Other than that, the first 70-ish laps, you're not too stressed. It's just don't get, you know, laps down, don't get taken out, and hopefully avoid any damage as best you can. Okay, well, let's see what these guys are going to do. Welcome in if you are here. Thank you so much for joining us here for the Triple Bypass Holy Rollers Hot Sauce 105, sponsored by the number 78 Ben Harkham, who is sitting in second place. Here they come now. You can see the thundering 18 cars doing the business, and now we are going to be up and running with Hannigan out in front at the moment as well. Harkham pushed out onto that outside line. Perezzini tucking underneath once more with Al Corey right behind him. Are we going to see a two-line thread, or are we going to see only one line here, Ken? What do we think? These drivers are settling down a little bit, but it's a mixture of almost like that jig puzzle effect, where you know, jigsaw puzzle effect, where you throw them on the table and hope for the best. Yeah, so this track's kind of interesting. The corners are very wide. The track itself is very wide. It will filter down to mostly single file. You'll have guys trying to make moves on the inside. Harkham looked like he went really wide on that corner. I'm not really sure what was going on there, as it dropped him back quite a few spots. I think now he's down into 5th from P2. But yeah, the biggest thing you just got to be conscious of is how you're trying to save tires here, because obviously we don't have a stage break, so it's going to be hopefully at least one green flag pit stop, and you want to try and take that pit stop as late as you can, your first one especially, because the later you take that first pit stop, the better. So if you're going to try and use that high line just to try to save tires as best you can, and really utilize the lift going through, and try to not, you know, overturn or over throttle these corners. But for the most part, I could see it going fairly single file. Corners might get a little more jigsaw puzzle-esque, but as we see a little contact with the wall there in the background. But yeah, I think straightaways will be single file. Corners, you'll see a little more jigsaw as guys are trying to figure out what they're wanting to do for tires and fuel saving.
Okay, so what's the optimal? What are we looking at optimal? Are we running that up? That's not optimal. 3 wide there with the 78, 77 and Al Corey. So that was Harkham, Bradley and Corey taking it 3 wide there. Sean Bradley's Simpson Japanese livery-esque, I guess, maybe, in that pink machine. Looking fairly awesome in that Ford, I'm not going to lie. That's a very pretty livery there as well. You know, when we talk about circuits in general, right, and we talk about Texas, we talk about all the other circuits that we've been to, Bristol, Kansas, Daytona, the list goes on and on and on. We talk about this lifting. We talk about whether or not they're going to be full flat. What are we going to be doing here in Texas? Because we've been to Dega, where we're just flat out, full pedal to the metal. What are we doing at Texas? Because at the end of the day, every track's full flat, right? You know, it's only because I've got you in the booth that you tell me otherwise. What am I doing here at Texas?
You will be lifting a little bit, or at the very minimum, and it might not be a full lift. Most likely it'll be about 50 to 75% off of the throttle. So you're still going to be pushing the throttle a little bit, unless you're really trying to save tires, in which case you're going to full lift, maybe clutch in. But for the most part, this early, you're not really going to be trying to do that too much. You'll lift a little bit, and you can hear it as they kind of come down. So off the gas, and then they'll get on about midway through the corner. You'll start to hear it pick up again as they're trying to keep that smooth. And that's basically what you're going to see. The only time they're going to be full out is along the back straight, and then coming through the tri-oval aspect of the course. But you'll see the biggest line changes that we will see compared to most other, well, I believe it was the 48 that bumped the wall up ahead there. But what you'll see, the biggest difference you'll see between this track and something like Kansas, which same distance, both a mile and a half. The big difference will be that tri-oval section, because with it's more of a enter low, go high, and enter the second half of it low, go out high to take turn one. Whereas Kansas, because it's rounded, you're more just kind of following along the line. You don't need to drop all the way down, go back out, drop all the way back down. Like it's a lot smoother and more consistent kind of rounding. Whereas this, because you have the more angled tri-oval aspect, it does make it a little different. Sure. Here,
Bradley's in the wall. Hannigan's either struggling early doors here. He's lost free. Perezzini's taken up the mantle with Bradley, Harcum, Hannigan and Gretsch. He's now trying to come back here as Chris Hannigan. I'm wondering if he's had, well, to be honest, we're 10 laps in. Could we be looking at a tyre deg situation already? Because their best time's 30.09, last time's 30.43. We're losing 4 tenths at a rapid rate over 10 laps here. We do that over 20, we're going to be 8 tenths down, and then we're going to be into the 31s and so on and so forth. What are we thinking deg-wise? What are these drivers going to have to do? We talk about tyre saving, right? And people at home might sit back and go, well, how do you do that on an oval? You turn left anyway and you lift and you go round. How can you save tyres? Tell us what's going to be the easiest way for these guys to save tyres. What are we looking at in a conjunction rather than a road circuit, for instance?
So the biggest thing when it comes to saving tires with these ovals, and Texas is not friendly. It's normally a very hot track, which will burn your tires very quickly. But the biggest thing, so I'll talk quite quickly until we get along. So yeah, it's 44-degree track temperature. Like, that's hot. Like it'll eat your tires. But you'll hear as they come into this turn, the dragging. Fairly faint right now because guys are trying to sort of save their tire a little bit, but as they're turning with these cars, as you're trying to turn left to go around them, you will hear that right outside tire start to drag just a little bit, and that's just as they go down the track. It's kind of pulling because you're trying to get down, and obviously because it's angled on the surface, you're still pulling down that, and it scrapes away a little bit at the tires. Ooh, they get a little close there. So tire degradation, it will be a key factor tonight. It's not going to be a simple case of, Talladega or Daytona where you hop in, you go, you run 90 laps and your tire degradation's your tires are still at 99%. Yeah. You'll be wearing tires. I would be shocked if anyone's managing to go more than 35, 40 laps on these tires without massive tire degradation at that point, and time's very much slowing down. So I think with Hannigan, it's a case of, because he was out in the front and pushing the pace, it was starting to cook tires, and you could started to feel it, and his hope is trying to save them a little bit by backing off and just kind of letting guys go, sit back a little bit, take some of the slipstream, and just kind of utilize the draft to try and save a little bit of tire and a little bit of fuel.
Yeah, there is kind of 2 groups kicking off at the moment. The second group led by Herzog here in 7th place. Corey's about 5 seconds up the road. just about hanging on to the back of Carl Gretsch here with Chris Melton, Dustin Barton, Morris Bogan, and Andre Schultz here with Jason Benson and Marta Herzog. So they're starting to spread a little bit. Now, we talk a lot of the time about draft, how important it is, what the situation is. Stay in a group. You don't want to go be on your own because you're just going to slip backwards like Bambi on ice. You know, what are we thinking here, though? Because, you know, you got Derek Catt, who's currently in 18th place, right? And this poor young man is driving around literally with a 1 second gap to Matt Harmon, who's got another half a second up the road. John Creedler again trying to keep up to the back on that Spotify Camry there. But how important is the draft? Do they have to utilize the draft as much as they physically can, or can they afford to drop back and still carry on going forward?
You can drop back a little bit as long as you're kind of in the slipstream. The draft won't be as critical as Daytona or Talladega, somewhere like that, where if you get out of the draft at all, you're gone, and you know, it'll chew you up and spit you out. But you can see that gap keeps getting bigger, and if you look at these three cars here, they're not working together. Like, they're all out of lines. There's no drafting going on. Whereas if you look at that front group again, that front group is in basically a straight line. Well, you know, you've got the one guy trying to make a move, which is fair, but for a lot of this run, they've been in a straight line, and there's, you know, these two are now beside each other, but look how much they've fallen off the back of the front three. Yeah. And even these two, like, they have a, you know, 0.6 of a second gap up on Harcum, and, you know, they're not like bumper to bumper like you would see in Daytona or Talladega and, you know, places like that, but they're at least in a line, and it's going to help their speed. And like, since I started that sentence, they're now up to 1.4, almost 1.4 seconds, because these two now are working together, and they just threw, you know, shoot up, spit out Harcum right out the back, and then, you know, that draft will help. Is it as crucial? No, but it's going to be a difference maker, and this is why this front group of 5 is now, you know, 6 seconds ahead of the next group, because they've utilized this.
All right, let's have a look and see what Matt Harmon's been up to here. Oh, got a slide on the off track. Manages to get it back on the circuit there as well. We saw a lot of that in practice. You know, I'm not going to lie, there was loads of people going off around that exit of turn 4 where it squares up a little bit and goes a little bit straighter. So I'm not surprised that somebody has as the tyre wear and as the deg has cut in more. You know, I'm really not shocked that somebody has gone and taken a trip down that grass. You know, I think at the end of the day, it's necessary if you end up with a problem, but clearly what we've seen is that the iRacing gods have determined that isn't a yellow flag because he come back on, right? We're going to hop on to the left front of Ben Harcum. You can see him taking this turn 1-2 section, coming into it now, and that's where we're going in and out and up and down as he tags the wall. And we saw the way he did tag the wall because his steering wheel went a bit jolty, and you saw that with a wheel movement here as well. Texas, I think, for me, Texas looks quite a little bit more trickier, especially here. You know, you haven't got that, as we said, that smooth, round edges. It's almost like they've gone round half an egg and then they've decided, well, let's just straighten it up. And that's what it looks like. They haven't quite finished it off. Do you know what I mean?
They need to bump that one section out, like, you know, that 10 feet, just to round it a little smoother for the drivers. Yeah, and I mean, it adds, I kind of like it because it adds that extra little bit of a technicality to a track that, you know, when we are at Kansas and things like, ooh, as we see that one go on. But we're, you know, when you're at tracks like Kansas and stuff that we kind of refer to as cookie cutter, it's, you know, exactly what you think of when you think of NASCAR, with the tribal aspect. This doing something like this kind of allows it its own sort of identity, and that extra little bit of a technicality you have to be able to make coming through that trioval area. With this as compared to like somewhere like Charlotte, obviously the banking is a little different and things like that. Like this track having the 2 different bankings per, like, on the corners. So I believe it's 20 in turns 1 and 2, 24 in turn 3 and 4. it makes it its own sort of thing. So without just being a carbon copy of every other just sort of track that's around, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
It allows a little more thinking in the race.
Yeah, I don't, I'm not saying I dislike the track, because I don't. I think that front stretch here going down and across the start-finish line and across the other side, that is harsh. Like, we've seen him hit the wall. We've seen him do multiple things coming off there onto the grass. Kyle Gretsch did it as well. If a capable driver like Kyle Gretsch can do it, then, well, pretty much anybody can. But Mark Herzog got Maurice Bogan behind him with Chris Melton, Jason Benson, Dustin Barton. Now, we said about the draft, right? What I'm worried about, or not worried about to a degree here, is Matt Parazzini has pulled out a 1.2 gap, and he's doing it on his own. Is he going to get chewed up a little bit later on, or is just everybody else being slow at the moment?
It's going to all depend on how much Bradley and in this case Corey, as they're 2 and 3, are able to sort of work together here. Bradley is almost 2 seconds back, and Corey's another full second and a little bit further than that. So they're just not. You want to be in about that less than a second, ideally, and I mean ideally like right beside each other. But because of how far back they are, they're just not getting the same push. Whereas if Harcum and Hannigan get up a little closer to each other, they'd be able to really reel in these two and then start chasing down Parazzini. But because no one's really close, it's kind of Parazzini just doing what he wants to do, and he doesn't have to worry too much because there's not a whole lot riding, not a whole lot of people pushing him, so he can just go out and keep pushing the pace, and without anyone really getting partnered up and stuff like that, it does make it a little harder. Though I am concerned Parazzini might be pushing his car a little much, because he's lapping quite quick compared to some of the other drivers. I think the only person in the same area is Al Corey. He's also at around that 31:20. Other than that, everyone else is kind of in the 30s, 40s, the 31:30s, 31:40s. So could be a little much for his car right now, but I mean, if he's got it dialed in, because I believe this is a fixed setup too, so everyone's driving the same setup, so he couldn't really do too much to try and change it to save tires in a specific way. So it'll be very interesting to see how this ends up, as I think we've actually had now 2 or 3 people have come in for pit stops already. I believe lap 25 and 23 for Cat and Harmon. But curious when everyone else comes in. I think
Barton's in on the left there. You just see we've just gone past him
Barton,
as well.
So green flag stops, I mean, we've talked about it once or twice in the entirety of here. Small groups is always better. You avoid issues if you go in small groups.
I agree. I've got to be honest, as it's going on now, and I'm learning more and more and more about NASCAR. We've done the BSC. I think we're 2-3 seasons in with the BSC, I think, at the moment. So, the more NASCAR we're doing, the more and more and more learning that I'm doing. Now, obviously, yes, YouTube chat, I am an Englishman commentating on NASCAR. Please don't leave. I promise you, I have a rough idea I know what I'm talking about. But here we can see with Creedler in that 99 Spotify going along that Morris Bogan 8 in the 036 Nike swoosh. Ford there as well. These fighting out side by side currently at the moment. Lap 33 of 105. We've had Barton, Harmon, Cat, and now we've got on Andrew Schultz also in the pits. We're starting to get into this pit lane cycle. You said about 35 laps, roughly where we're at the moment as well, which I think is going to be interesting. So, I think overall, Bogan there into the wall. Kenton, that's not going to do him any favours.
No, and I think he might have done something to that tie rod there. His car's starting to weave a little bit, so I think he's going to be coming in, whether he was intending to or not, but that I think knocked his steering a little bit, maybe the front tire. You hit those walls pretty hard, it's deceiving because it looks like it's not going to do a whole lot, but they can really knock a tire off very quickly. I had that myself in Talladega when I was running my own race. My engine also died, but things happen. But yeah, you knock a tire and that can change your race. Although, Okay, it looked like he went a little far. I was like, oh no, did he overshoot his pit box? I was like, that's not what you want. As you can see, he was definitely taking rights as well. I think most guys are going to try and take both sides tires here. It looks like, yeah, so far everything's been about 15-ish seconds. So that's one. There's two main strategies with green flag racing or pit stops. You take both tires, which obviously will be longer, or you try and swap a side, like one side at a time. It's a little riskier and usually want to be utilized for long tracks. It's definitely not something you want to be trying to pull on short tracks, because it can or at least high deg tracks like Texas. It can be a little riskier because you have to come in more often, and if you aren't able to come in soon enough, your other side gets really worn in. And if you do right side, left side, that's a long time for your right side to go again. So it can get a little dicey. It's very select times you'll do that, or you change all four of them, which obviously just you spend more time in the actual pit box then.
Right, okay. So what would your prime strategy be? Would you be sitting back thinking, I'm only going to take one? Are you sitting back thinking, I'm going to take two? The outside, what's the overall verdict for you on these situations? Because obviously, at the end of the day, you drive these cars, you're getting them as well. You do, Coke 500s and all the other fancy jazz and the longer ones. What are you doing at this moment in time at Texas?
With Texas, with how hot it is and with the sort of tire degradation you're going to be looking at, honestly, I'd take all four, especially early. Going into your final pit stop, if it's kind of one of those things where it's a race in and out to get good positioning for the last lap or last few laps, then maybe look at doing just your outsides, because the inside takes much less of a beating than the outside tires will, especially your front right. That one will take the most amount of beating, but in NASCAR you can only swap in sets of two. You can't just swap off or one tire, so you actually have to pick either right side or left side or both. So with that, I would do all tires, at least the first and second stint, and then maybe the third stint if you're looking to get a very fast pit stop and maybe jump a couple of guys, then something like doing just the right sides. But can be a little trickier, and it all kind of depends on it's very situational in that regard.
Okay, well, that was a very diplomatic answer from Mr. Kennan Sports out there. Never really gave anything away, did he? Never really gave us anything here whatsoever. Al Corey, Sean Bradley going racing here as well, going side by side at some points. Corey looks like he's got this car dialed in. He is in that Camaro. He is looking a little bit more comfortable than Bradley at the moment. Bradley's looking a very up and downy kind of line. He's dropping in, letting it come out. Corey's being able to run that almost middle of the road line in conjunction. He loses a bit of time on the exit, and this is where Bradley generally will come across. There you go. Takes his nose off again, and Bradley goes up high, coming down now as well. Now the problem they've got, this gentleman on the left-hand side.
Ooh, hello.
That is Matt Harmon. Harmon has been into the pits, okay? So Matt Harmon has been into the pits. Harmon's last lap time, 31.4. Corey's over 32.3. So Harmon on fresh boots at the moment, nearly a second quicker.
Yeah, and that's going to be just showing you how much degradation these tires are taking. It's significant. And I mean, you're like, 1 second, it's not that much. Well, these cars are going
180. Yeah, just topping out 180
miles an hour. Over a second, that's a good amount of space. Over, pushing 2 seconds, that's even more. And you can see how quickly he got out front and was pulling away. And that was kind of what I'm thinking happened with Hannigan having led for as long as he did off the start. Perezzini seems to not really be getting too affected by it. He's still running in the 3150s. So whatever tire saving he's been doing is definitely working with him. I mean, he's got a 5 second gap now over Sean Bradley. And it's not even close. He's just really managing to nurse those tires. And I mean, obviously he's going to have to come in, but he's still running 31.6. compared to Al's last lap was 32 flat. Kyle just behind him here was in a 32.05. The only other person running sort of in that in range is Chris Melton, and he ran a 31.59. So about the exact same. But yeah, got a lot of guys running very slow times as the tires are starting to burn out.
Do you know the interesting thing? I've been sat here watching this onboard on the gyro. Now, we didn't quite get this same effect in the cockpit, but you can generally see how high the banking is, how much lean these cars are having in these corners. Now, it's been quite an amazing feat for me to sit here and watch it. But all of a sudden, there you go, it just goes boom, up in the air, and then round we go. You know, the banking at Texas is very fierce compared to other places that we've been to and other places we've seen these series cars go there. You know, this is quite a severe banking in general, isn't it? You know, when you're looking at 20 degrees, 24 degrees, this is quite harsh at banking at Texas.
Yeah, 24 degrees is quite a lot. It's sort of a weird thing to sort of think of. So you're like, 20 degrees, that's really not that much. You know, it's not even at a 45-degree angle, so it's fairly, smooth. It's quite low, but you got to think over 60 feet. That's quite a gap. You're coming from down flat to 20 degrees over 60 feet. Like, it keeps going up at 20 degrees, so it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. You definitely have to be sort of cognizant, and the main reason they do it for these is sort of similar to why they have cambered corners in road courses, is it just gives you more speed to carry through the corner because you actually use the banking to help you get around said corners. So the higher up they go, the smoother that corner typically is and the more speed you can carry. The downside though is you don't get it's a longer distance. So obviously, down at the line, you're taking a shorter distance. The further out you go, the more distance you have to cover over that same sort of space, sort of thing. So you can have more speed, but you have to go longer, or you can take a shorter route and have to slow down a little bit more. So it's kind of a 6 of one, half dozen of the other kind of thing. But also depending on what you're doing. If you're trying to save tires, well, taking that little longer route typically at least helps that out a little bit, whereas hopping in and going low will burn your tires a little more because you're having to pull down that lane the entire time and utilize throttle control a little more.
Hannigan here looks like he is definitely struggling in this car. 31.7 last time out. Best time being a 30.09, one of the fastest men on the circuit here as well. And it looks like there was somebody there, Mark Herzog. Well, I'm pretty sure that's not a way of doing that corner. That's released Hannigan and Benson with Creedler in front of these guys as well. And Mark Herzog there back on track. There's no major dramas. There's no yellow flags. So we are up here still running on lap 51. There's drivers that haven't been in. There's drivers that have been in. And at the moment, Barton, Bogan, Harcum, Harmon, Schultz and Cat have all been into the pits already. They've already been in on lap 29, 33 and Harcum on lap 44. So he's the most recent one and the man on the fresher tyres at the moment for that number 78, today's sponsor of course, here once more. So a big shout out to the number 78 of Ben Harcum, who is sponsoring today's event here at Texas for the Holy Rollers Hot Sauce 105. Sponsored by Ben Harcum. You can see the difference in tyres. Look at this. He's breezing past them like they stood still.
Oh yeah, and it's amazing to think of how far that all ends up, or how fast it changes things. Like that new tires on here, you're gonna fly compared to someone who's on old tires and the degradation in these tires. And at this point, if I'm that front group that haven't pit yet, I'd be very much considering it, because it's a little less common in NASCAR compared to road racing, as we can see Chris Hannigan heading on into the pits there. Ooh, big lockup out of him as he goes in. But comparatively to road racing, the undercut and overcut usually aren't too much of a thing here. They're a thing at Texas. With high degradation tracks, it can be a very, very prominent thing, because if your car suddenly is going a second to 2 seconds slower than someone going ahead of you, well, that's now 2 seconds faster per lap over 6, 7, 8. In some cases, some of these guys went in, lap 30. So we're looking at almost 34. Like, we're looking at 20 laps. That's a lot of time that they've just made up or passed and put behind them compared to you. So now you are going to have to get out and hope to make that up ending stint 2 kind of thing, because these guys obviously are not going to have to come in again earlier than what the guys going in now will have to do. So it's kind of a tricky trade-off. And for guys that are coming in now, the big thing is it looks like a lot of them are going to be trying to pull almost a one-stop race here. Yeah. We're lap 55 of 105, so they've got about 50 laps left. So it is going to be doable, but they're going to be hurting at the end, and it's going to kind of come down to who can save tires the best here.
Yeah, definitely as well. I was keeping an eye on Ben Harkham as he was just seeing where literally on track. I'm trying to do some maths, which is probably never good for me anyway, but he's come out not too far behind Perezzini. Perezzini's going to get past Crutchley. Harkham's going to get past Crutchley as well. Brandon Hinton, Al Corey. So there's going to be a couple of people struggling here, Kenton, as well. And I got a funny feeling Ben Harkham may have put himself in a good position coming in that little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be a smart move to have gone in that little bit earlier, because now, even with these guys coming out, their tires are still going to be cold. And so Harkham's got his way back up into more or less contention, obviously, with Perezzini having the net lead, I believe, as the front guys ahead. Yeah, all the guys ahead of Perezzini haven't pit yet. John Kreidler is coming in now, as is Hinton. But so the net lead being Perezzini, but he's managed to hop over, Corey, Bradley, Hannigan, all of them having his tires done about 10 laps earlier. The downside will be he might have to make a second stop. So if he hasn't been saving and has to make that second stop, that could really absolutely throw this race for him. Like that could cause a lot of issues. So it's going to be very interesting on what he ends up doing and how this ends up playing out throughout.
Yeah, well, at the moment, we've still got Perezzini out in front, and I'm going to say that. I know Melton's at the top and Herzog's at the top. Both men have not pitted, and they're not doing themselves any favours by not pitting. I think that's the thing. They want to be looking at getting in, because at the moment the people in front of them are doing lap times here with Matt Perezzini at 30.37s. They're in the 31.6s. So there is a 1.3 second gap at the moment between these front two of Mark Herzog and Chris Melton. So for Melton and Herzog here, Melton's looking like he's going round, unless he comes off and drops down within turn 3 and 4. At the moment, Melton's still in the 32.7s. He's got to get them boots off. Well done to you. And Herzog, no, going round again. Mark Herzog here. So Mark Herzog is the leader of the race at this moment in time. Perezzini probably more the track leader here once more. So Perezzini sitting in third at the moment, possibly first on track. So let's see what happens here and whether or not Chris Melton can get in and out before Perezzini gets round there. I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle for this young man. He's still got about another 20 seconds in that pit lane. You see he's just gone up in the air there, so he'll be on his way out. Ben Harkham, Matt Perezzini did pass Chris Melton, and Melton's also now past Bradley, Bogan, Gretsch, Corey. Is Hannigan going to get past Melton at the same time? Melton's on his way out of the pit, so this could be a close exit for both of these drivers here. Melton did get overtaken, and he's now down in 11th. Herzog's in now. This should, in theory, can give Perezzini the lead.
Yeah, it's I was gonna say it might be close, but I think there Perezzini's already about him. So and then looking at it, I believe who that was Melton. That was it. He had kind of a slow pit stop at 16.6 seconds there. Hinton was a little slower, but it wasn't very quick. It put it in perspective. Perezzini and Harkham were both 15 low. Sean Bradley had a 14.5, so I think a little slower on the pit stop, and that might cost him a position or two. But unfortunately for him, that's going to be hopeful that the next races or the next stint goes a little smoother for him.
Yeah, well, we are on lap 62, and I can sit here and say I am amazed at the moment we have not hit any. That's it, and that's as far as I'm going, but you can figure out what the rest of it says, right? Because I'm not going to jeopardize it. Carl Gretsch now making that move past Maurice Bogan here as well as they come in onto that tricky straight section of what is associated as a D oval and tri-oval, whatever you would like to call it, D-shaped oval egg with a bit of shell missing on the corners. I'm not quite sure what you want to call it, but whatever it is, Carl Gretsch has cleared Maurice Bogan here. They're all getting a little bit spread out now. You can see it in the lap times and in the split differences as well. Go on to the gaps. You can see 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 17. They're a little bit more spread out now, Ken. And what are we looking at doing in this stretch? Because at the moment, Alcori and Bogan are probably the closest two cars on track for position.
Yeah, now it's going to become a case of either work together or, you're going to end up dueling each other. And these cars' side draft is actually really dangerous. And I don't mean in the sense of you can crash very easily. It just slows both of you down because you're just taking extra wind directly to the front of your car. So, it obviously in this case, and we just saw Corey go ripping by Bogan. So it's also going to come down to who actually has a faster car or who knows how to drive the lines of this track properly. So as of right now, I think Perezzini, it's more or less his race to lose. He's going to have to do 40 more laps here. We saw him do 55 on those tires and still be hammering out, 31 fives. So, or 31 fives, 31 sixes. Like it's going to be kind of his race to sort of milk the tires for a little bit. And if he's able to do that and save them enough, he should be fine.
Should be.
Calling it early because I want my Canadian.
Well, look, I'm not being rude here, but you've got one in first and third. Let's not be greedy, right? You know what I mean?
I just want him to stay first. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you got to give the rest of the countries a chance. Like, we've got John Campbell, OJC from Australia, Andrew Schultz, who's from Denmark. I believe Schultz is out at the moment because I can't find him on track, unfortunately, for Andrew Schultz. Not entirely sure what he did, to be honest, because I haven't had any major moments flash up. He's jumped to the pits there. He went into the pit lane. What did Andrew Schultz do? Nothing, as far as I can see. He went into the pits, he come out of the pits, and then he jumped to the pits. So unless on his exit of the pit lane here, he's done something a little bit silly. Oh, that was it. So there we go. Andrew Schultz, first casualty of the evening. So there you go. Barton, Schultz, Cat and Hanlon. Well, Hanlon didn't take the start there. I'm not sure what happened to Cat either because nothing's flashed up to tell me that anybody's had a major incident here, Ken. And I'm a little bit confused by this one.
Maybe forgot to swap tires or just something didn't feel right today. Yeah, I don't know. Weird.
Yeah. Wow, to be honest, because I am really not sure because nothing's splashed up. We've had no yellow flags. And I'm scrolling all the way back to the beginning. Cat went off track, come back on track. He went and entered and left and then entered again and then didn't leave. So we can have a look and see what Derek...
Maybe got a speeding in this pit lane penalty or something?
Okay, so that's probably not going to help him, right? I'm not going to lie, for Derek Cat. Oh, he hit that wall. Now look, it's all out of sync. That front right is completely gone. You can see it there. It's just stuck. Flat as in Goodyear Eagles. You can see the tyre there. It's just completely done, isn't it, for Derek Cat, unfortunately, here once more. So that's a bit of a shame for that young man, I'm sure. Sean Bradley trying to get away from Ben Harcombe. Can't quite make it at the moment. 71 up, 34 left to go here, Ken. And now we're getting into that nitty-gritty. This is where I like to call the little mind games. We're starting playing a little bit of chess is Perezzini going to run away like he has done because he's opened up that 5.5 second gap, or will Bradley have more tyres left than him at the end of it?
I would say he would, but if you look at that track map in the top right corner, Perezzini has a partner, and he's utilizing a lapped car as kind of a draft partner. So he's not pushing him too much, and obviously Perezzini, but he's using it. Like, he's staying behind him, he's following his line and just trying to do what he can. Not necessarily force him in any one direction. He's not doing anything too crazy, but he's definitely on the, I say that right as he tries to, or goes to make sort of a move, but I don't think he's really trying to necessarily make a move right now. He's just trying to utilize him. And since, we looked at it, it was about 2 seconds of a gap, 2.5, 3 laps ago, it's now up to almost 6 seconds. Like, he's just been keeping it nice, keeping it smooth, and staying out of trouble and not trying to force anything. So it's a great tactic he's using, and I think now he might be looking to make a move, but he might finally go past him here. But it's been smart. Utilize it. You can see on the number 2 car, or the second place car, there's just behind the 13 there. He's nowhere near anybody. There's a big gap ahead and a big gap behind. He's kind of floating, so he's not going to have nearly as much speed just off of the draft as Perezzini's going to. So I think this is the right way to do it if you're Perezzini. Just you save a little fuel, save a little on your tires, and just kind of utilize the draft there. And he's also gearing down a little bit, so that'll also...
Yeah, he's dropping down to 4th.
So he's just kind of comfortable doing what he's doing, and he's being smart about it, not trying to overkill anything to make these corners.
He's doing a good job there. Al Corey up behind Kyle Gretsch at the moment as well, the 27 and the 45 there. Of course, Al Corey, the triple bypass co-founder. Then you got Kyle Gretsch, or Sexy Wall Trip on YouTube, depending on who you want to talk to there as well. You can go and check him out. But yeah, these two are still jostling away for this 3rd and 4th place. The number 45 and the 27 coming into the last 76. We're on that 29 to go. The board will change when we get to 25. It will tell you, touch wood, we're all good at the moment.
For sure. Also, I figured this out because I did math. It's probably wrong, but this is my ish estimate based on me doing very simplistic math. So 20 degrees is an increase of about 4.188 inches per foot. So that's how much you're gaining in height at the end of that 1 foot. So over 80 feet, which is turns 1 and 2, over 80 feet, you're gaining 27.92 inches. No, feet. Sorry. Inches? Feet. Yeah. It was 335 inches. That's right. Yeah, so 27 feet from the bottom to the very top of the corner. So it is a very drastic lean. Very drastic.
And you did the maths for that?
Yeah.
Or did you Google it?
I Googled how much it is in terms of like an inch at 20 degrees, or how many inches is per foot is 20 degrees, to find out it's 4.188, and then just times that by 80, which gave me how many inches it would be over 80 feet, and then just divided that by 12 to give you, as Chris gets a little squirrely coming out of turn 4 there, and then just divide it by 12 to find out how many feet that actually translates to. So yeah, 27.92 feet.
Oh, okay. I'm impressed. Andy still got his shoes and socks on, ladies and gentlemen.
I do. There was much easier math than I had to do on Tuesday. So.
Oh, okay.
Compared to the BSC math, that was hard.
Hey, you were trying to do the math on the fly, mate. I'm just sat there going, let's wait until the results come out, because I gave up after a certain point. It got too complicated because there was points for this and that and this and that and leading and not leading and this. Oh. No.
I was right on who got eliminated, at least.
You was, and I'm proud of you for that. So take that and put that in your pocket. I'll send you a gold sticker, or when you get over into Germany, I'll come and bring you prezzies. We'll see Ben Harcum now, the man that pitted on lap 44 there, pitted a lot earlier than some of the others. Now starting to struggle, Kenton. Is he thinking about a second stop, do you think?
I think he's going to have had to, strictly because fuel is going to be a problem. And you can see he's very loose. Like, you can see how far over that orange stripe is going when he comes into these corners. Like, his tires are, I don't want to say cooked, but they're cooked. Like, you can see right now he is having to oversteer a little bit just to keep the car turning. Like, and that's not like he's a bad. That's also not going to help his tires. But it's not like he's not a bad driver or anything like that. Like, you can see it by hopping on with Hartzog's car. He's not going to have to turn nearly as much because like, you can see, like, right there, his wheel isn't turning nearly as much because his tires are fresher. He came in that little bit later, so that's just a case of his right front starting to wear down and the car's starting to get a little loose, and because of that, he's starting to not grip and bite into the asphalt as much when he's going around these corners, and it's causing him, due to centrifugal force, look at me using big words, pulling him to the outside.
And you're a Canadian, even more impressed.
I know.
I know.
Who would have guessed it? We're edumacated sometimes.
Wow. Edumacated and count to 10 without taking your shoes and socks off. I'm so proud of you this evening. I'll tell you, I feel like I'm in the booth with a different person compared to last Tuesday. Anyway, there you go. Should have seen it. If you haven't watched the BSC, go watch the BSC. Me and Kenton trying to do maths. Well, yeah, we gave up. Well, I did. Kenton struggled on. Bless you.
My head hurt for like 2 hours after that.
Oh, mate, I was lost. I literally just waited for the official results. As soon as Armand just went, I'll get the results to you straight away, I was like, good. I'm going to stop thinking now because my head hurts. I'm not going to lie. Benson and Melton, 9th and 10th, one of the closest battles on track. Hannigan is trying to get into the back of John Creedler. Creedler is trying to drop Hannigan here. Herzog's just flown past Harkham. Melton's going to do the same as well. So today's sponsor, of course, Mr. Ben Harkham in that 78 put to gas livery for this Holy Rollers Hot Sauce 105. Is starting to struggle, so we've given him about 35. He went in on 44. We're now on lap 85. He's gone about 41 laps. So are we saying that by about lap 90, 91, 92, so give about 10 to 9 to go here, some of these other guys are going to start going off and struggling as well?
Definitely. You're going to be looking at Perosini and that group sort of struggling. Herzog might be a little fresher, a touch longer, just because he did come in a little bit later than everybody on lap 60. But he himself and Bogan, I'm amazed Bogan's holding on as well as he has been, because he came in on lap 33. His tires are probably screaming for new ones. But he's still holding on, and he's still actually running quite well. Like, I think his last lap was a 31.8.
Yeah, 31.8.
Yeah, whereas Harkham's running 33s. So either Harkham's going slow on purpose to try and...
Why would you do that?
Save the tires a little bit and trying to make it to the end without having to come in.
Do you reckon he will, though? I can't see that happening. If he can't go from lap 44 to where we're at now with 18 to go, I don't think he's going to get there. And that's obviously putting us on lap 83 at 88 coming up. So I can't see Harkham getting there. If I was Harkham now, I'd be using my brain and going, right, I'm going to go into the pits and get this job done. And just as I say that, there he is, the number 78, straight into the pits there as well. I would put them tyres on and I would rag the living grannies out of them, and I would literally push like a trooper, because I can guarantee by the time some of these drivers are getting into that lap 90, 10 to go mark, they're going to be struggling. So for him, I would put them on. It's near enough a second and a half quicker on fresher boots than somebody on lap 44 old tyres. So he might be lapped now, but I can pretty guarantee sure that he'd give that a good old go and try and get round. I would do all four, bang, go flat out, 16 laps, give me that tyre after that wear.
Something's going on with his car, though. I think he has repairs, because he's been in now stationary for almost 50 seconds.
Oh, okay.
And I think he had to have had damage.
Damage or a speeding ticket?
it could be that too. If he got a speeding ticket, his race is done. Like, well, not done, but like done. Because now he's going to be. That's now 2 laps down. He's about to be a 3rd lap down.
Yeah, I can't see him doing this now.
Yeah, if he got a stop or a hold penalty for speeding in the pit lane, that's more or less wraps for him.
Well, I got a funny feeling it's wraps because him and Matt Harmon. Now, Harmon's been in there for about 10 minutes. He's another man that's just entered and not come back out. Right? I'm not filling you in because there's nothing to fill you in on. Harmon's just gone in and not come back out again. And for Harcum, unfortunately, now he's still in there with 2 minutes to go. Now, has he got damage and forgot to press the fast repair because they do get one? Or did he go into the pits, use his fast repair because he forgot to take it off? And now that damage is going to cost him, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, for instance. You know, we'll try and have a chat with him and see what the problem is. I wonder if I can get him in here. Is he still in the bits? He is. Let's see if I can have a quick chat with Ben Harcum. I'll drop him in there just so he knows he's going to have a conversation here as well. Let's welcome the number 78 up into the booth. Ben, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, bud. What's happening at the moment? You know, you were on. I thought you were going to go in, get tyres, and go round everyone. What's going on? We've been in there 3 minutes.
Yeah, I smacked the wall and got a meatball, and I used my fast repair first time I went to the pits, and I'm still sitting here.
Oh, man. How long you got?
I got 1 minute and 15 left.
Oh, dude, you were looking strong. I thought that second pit stop with 16 to go, that would have given you a big old boost here as well. You know, you took the early one on 44, and I thought that was going to be it, and now you're sat there. Do you think you're done? Is it just a consolidation to see where you can come out?
Yeah, probably just see where I come out. Probably be here maybe 6-7 laps down, probably.
Oh, Ben.
That turn 4 wall come out and bit me.
Oh, I bet it did, mate. You're not the only one. Trust me. There's been a couple that gently got into that one. Look, man, look, gutted as well. Today's race sponsor, Ben Harcum, here once more. Ben, such a shame. Be good to see you get out on track, finish the race, though, buddy. Hopefully, no more wall taps.
Hopefully not.
Man, take care.
Have a good one.
And you. Told you. I called.
Yep.
I
Wall
did.
taps are the worst.
Yeah, and I did say, did he use his fast repair on his first one? That's why he's got nothing left, and he did.
Yeah,
he was looking like as well at that time, Kenan, when he had 16 to 18 laps to go. You know, coming in, getting boots. He would have been there or thereabouts. I'm not going to lie, because he had pace on them fresh tyres. We just saw him cruise past everyone, and oh man, Ben Harcum, gutted. Absolutely gutted. Right, let's keep an eye on Mark Herzog. Now, he went in about 5 to 6 to even 8 laps later than the likes of Perezzini, Bradley, Corey, Gretsch, Creedler, and Hannigan. 8 laps later than Hannigan, mind you. 8 laps later. So he's charging down this little group here at the moment. Do we think Herzog's got some tyres left with 8 to go?
He definitely does, but he's not really running that much fast. Like, he is running faster than Chris Hannigan, but Hannigan did have a little bit of traffic, although bumping the wall like that. Oh, is he going to save it? Is he going to save it?
Oh!
And he did. Fantastic. But that's not going to help. So I'm going to say he's got some work to do again.
I'm going to say no now.
Yeah, it's probably not.
No, I thought he might have been in there. I thought Herzog without 8 lap older, younger tyres. I thought he might have had an opportunity, but unfortunately, yeah, that's not going to do him any favours. Benson here as well on 50. He pitted on lap 53, so we've got 7 to go here. So we're on lap 98. Here as well, just gone over onto 99 with Perezzini there taking that lead over the line and taking it through. Melton and Benson still jockeying around here as well. These guys fighting out for the top 10, 8th and 9th. Brandon Hinton Brandon Hinton here in that 25 car. It's been interesting for Brandon. We've not really seen much of him here, Kenton. He's just gone about, stayed out of his business, stayed out of trouble, and gone about doing it correctly.
Yeah, he's he even helped out a little bit for Perezzini as he was trying to go by.
Yeah.
Gave him a little bit of a draft for a couple laps there. But yeah, I mean, it's been a clean race. Just kind of one of those stay out of trouble, do what you need to do, and drive fast, turn left. So, and those are always good races.
Don't make it sound like it's as easy as that. For us Europeans, that's all they do anyway, regardless.
It is.
You know what I mean? They just go out, put the car on track, turn left, lean it a little bit, and the job's a good one. We don't worry about tyres and all this other jingle jangle that you guys talk about. We just go out and bang it left. That's it. That could explain why I've been never any good in NASCAR within iRacing here. So, yeah, that probably explains a lot. We've got everybody up to John Crotchley, who has literally been a lap down. There is Mark Herzog.
Oh, that might bring out a yellow.
Depending if he goes down, he has. There we go.
There it is. I was like, that has to be a yellow at this point. Wonder if does he have his fast repair, or is that it?
Mate, the wall of four.
That wall.
Now, he had almost, he got a warning a couple of laps ago, didn't he? He got a warning that could happen. He hadn't, he's been hurtling around here, but he did get a little bit of a warning to say, because that isn't the first time Mark Herzog's taken a trip across the grass. Now, I would be in boots, job's a good un, I'm coming after. That would be me. I don't know about you, Kellen.
It's gonna be very dependent on what everyone else does. Because track position is gonna be more important here. You can force two laps, 3 laps out of these cars and be okay, but it's all going to hinge on what Perezzini decides to do. Because if you're everybody else, you're not going to come in if Perezzini doesn't, because that's just going to drop you down to the back of the line.
Oh, here he comes.
Is he, though?
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Yep.
There's, Sean Bradley, too. Or is he going to fake it? Is it a fake it till you make it?
No,
nope, he is coming in.
He has made it.
A little bit of contact behind there.
Yeah.
Sean Bradley and Al. I believe that's Al Corey, but yeah, it looks like everybody on the lead lap is coming in. Everyone else is going to try and get a lap back here.
Well, that kind of makes a little bit more sense. Unfortunately, under the pace car, they're not going full pelt here. Mark Herzog sat there, so I'm safely going to say that he hasn't got a fast repair left. Unfortunately for Mark, as you can see, this busy pit lane at the moment there. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars.
Oh no. Perezzini's going to lose out.
He got jumped. He got jumped by Kyle
He
Gretsch.
got jumped in by 1. Ooh, this is going to get a little spicy coming through now. I was just going to say, honestly, and I think this is what Kyle Gretsch did. Gretsch, okay?
Gretsch.
Take one side. Take your right side only. And based on the fact that he was 5 seconds faster of a pit stop than everybody else, I think that's what he did. His right side only. So, and this is what I was talking about earlier. That last stint, this last little pit stop, taking just the right sides. It's track position is going to be everything. Yes, Perezzini is going to have both tires fresh, but he's also going to be on the outside lane, and it's 3 laps. And really, by the time you're done, it's 2, because you're going to come through for 2 laps to go, or whatever, for the pace car. By the time it sends everybody around again, it will be a case of, 2 laps to go, and it's just going to be drive real fast.
What?
So this could work out. Well, it's going to be a good test, a good kind of experiment. See how this plays out.
Why did Ben Harkham go in again?
That I don't know. Maybe he had a little more. What's it called?
Damage.
Optional repairs.
Strange. Well, let's keep an eye out here as well. As the pace car lights are still on, so we are going to be going one more. Let's try and catch up. Should we grab our Corey? Let's have a quick chat with the man here, one of the Triple Bypass owners here as well. Al, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Hey, bud. Listen, free to go. Everybody into the pits. Did you take all 4 or did you just take right side?
Yeah, I took all 4. Left side tire wear is pretty bad. My left sides were 74% on that run, so I've got to take 4.
Okay, we think Carl Griesick only took 2 because he's out in front at the moment. Jump, what's the plan from the beginning? Are we just going to go full flat, send it out and see where you end up?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kyle took 2. He won't hang on to the lead with 2 tires. And if I get a top 5, I'll be happy. You guys know me.
Yeah, well, you're in 4th there, buddy. You're in where you started, so that ain't a bad evening of racing so far. Well, listen now, pace car lights are going to come off. You're going to be going green next time around, bud. Have a good one, and hopefully we might see you in that victory lane.
Cheers.
Take care.
Total aside, the fact that they have the yellow flags on the stanchions and the stands there, cool touch.
Oh, hold on. Oh, see then.
If you go on board with one of the cars going around the grandstand. Oh, you gotta go. They're further back. They're coming towards the start-finish line. So, like, hop on with one of the cars coming around.
I'm there.
On the backside. No, hop on with like the 12th place car. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Bully me this evening.
Or are they off now because they're off now because the other lights are off. Like the safety car lights are off. But if you look back through the broadcast,
you gave me all that grief for no reason.
Apparently.
Oh,
yeah, when
man.
the safety car lights were on, all the lights on the stanchions where the fence were all lighting up yellow. They flashing yellow as well.
Okay.
Cool touch.
Cool
I wonder
touch.
if that's actually a thing in Texas.
I don't really know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, they do it bigger and better down there, don't they? Let's face it.
Bigger. Wouldn't say better.
Yeah, that's because you're from up the north part of it, you know, in that little country at the top that can't decide if it's going to speak. Can't decide.
The Englishman calling Canada little.
Yep. Yeah, can't decide if you're going to speak French or English. You know what I mean? You're either a French Canadian or a normal Canadian, and then you're an half Canadian. It's, you know, it all gets more complicated, I tell you what, there as well. Right, we are going to be up and running. We're going to go down into the last 3 at the moment. You can see them all bolting away. 3 to go here, Kenan. They don't reckon Carl Gretsch is going to hang on. Corey's in the middle, 3 wide here as well. Let's find out in the next minute and a half. Kyle's not going to hang on. That's what Al Corey said. What do you think?
If the tire degradation was that bad that Al Corey was coming in and his left sides are on 70% after that stint, I'm terrified to see what Kyle's ends up being, because that will be very disastrous. It looked like I think a little bit of a touch to the wall. Yeah. Ooh, nice block there by Perezzini as he cuts underneath. I don't think he's going to be able to hold it in terms of trying to get past
final lap.
Hannigan there. Hannigan. So yeah, so safety cars don't exist now.
Nope, and it's going to be Gretsch. I think Gretsch is going to hang on here.
Like I said, throw them on, send it. You only need 2.
Well, he took the 2. He took the 2, and he did it here as well. He proved Al Corey wrong. Carl Gretsch comes over the line, takes the win here at Texas in the Holy Rollers Hot Sauce 105. Sorry.
See, this is gonna be my first question. No way. First question I'm gonna have is what are his left tires at? I want to see how degraded those things are.
Yeah, Bradley comes over in second here. Hannigan in third. We'll bring up the official results very, very shortly once more. But that is going to bring the race to an end. Let's bring you up these results. Let's show you here once more. Carl Gretsch out in front here as well. Then Sean Bradley in second. Chris Hannigan third. Matt Perezzini down in fourth. That last pit stop killed him a little bit. Al Corey in fifth. He's got his top 5. Well done, Al, there as well. John Creedler, 6th. Chris Melton, 7th. Jason Benson, 8th. Brandon Hinton in 9th. John Campbell in 10th. John Crutchley, the Nodge in 11th, with Morris Bogan in 12th. Mark Herzog, 13th, after his last few lap dramas that caused the only caution here as well. Lap 102. Matt Hartman, Dustin Barton, Andrew Schultz, Derek Catt did not finish the race, and Keith Hanlon unfortunately did not start the race here as well. Let's set these young gentlemen up for a chat. Let's bring in that one. Where are you? There you are. Should we go top three today, Ken? And I'm feeling like we should go a little bit top three. So let's have a chat with the top three. Are we going to go in reverse order? And we will start this off with a man himself who did start on pole. He finished in third place in the end here as well. He's got to be happy with that because he did drop down a little bit far back in that first stint. But welcome in Chris Hannigan into the booth. Chris, good evening to you, young sir.
Good morning to you, James. How's it going, brother?
Well, I'm still awake. So I'm taking that as a plus. All right, I'm taking that as a plus. All right, overall for you, pole position, you went out, opened up the tyres, and then all of a sudden you started coming back. Did you burn them a little bit too quickly?
No, the first stint, I was actually saving them. That's why I led the first few laps. I was saving, and I think the guys behind me were running harder than I wanted to run, so I just kind of let them go. Got about 20 laps in, 25 laps in, then I started to push because the tires were getting good, and I started running down the guys ahead of me, and then I smacked the wall out of 4 and got wheel damage on the car, and that just killed any chance I had to run those guys down. So from that point on to the pit stop, I was just falling back because I had no grip, and the car was pushing really bad. So thankfully that late yellow came out, because without that I had no shot at catching those guys because I burned the set on the second run too. Didn't manage the tires well at all, but late yellow flag, kind of a funky restart with Al in front of me. I guess he just got the timing wrong, or the car in front of him. I don't know what happened there, but I got around both of them. Thankfully, we all didn't hit each other, and yeah, brought it home in P3. That's great. We'll take it.
Now, final pit stop, lap 104. Did you take 4 or did you take 2?
I took all 4, man. I think I was like third to last on the lead lap when I came in, so I had nothing to lose. I mean, I just took all 4 tires. I don't know if the guys ahead took 2 or not, but yeah, we took all 4, and it worked out really well. I was trying to warm them up quite a bit under yellow, and I think it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, well, I can tell you now, Carl Gretsch is basically only took 2, and that probably had something to do with how he managed to jump most people in the pits there, Chris, as well. So, a great run from you that still keeps you at the top of the standings at the moment, as well as obviously Roethlisberger is not here, so that's going to give you a nice little boost. What's the aspirations for this season? Are you going to go and try and win this championship, or what do you think? First season here, of course, with these guys. What's on the agenda for you?
Yeah, I'll try my best. I mean, this is a lot of fun. I haven't run ovals in a long time, and this has been a blast. So it's been a cool treat running out with these guys. They're an awesome bunch of drivers. They're very talented, super quick, super clean and polite in the chat. And yeah, I'm going to do as many races as I can. I'm looking forward to the road course. I think that's actually next week. We're going to the Roval, so I'm hoping my road course skills will get to shine a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm just having a great time with these guys, and we'll see what happens at the end. If I might get lucky, you never know.
Oh, well, let's see how you get on there, buddy, and let's see once more. I've got a funny feeling, though, you're off to Talladega next week. You actually go to Charlotte on October the 12th, young sir.
See, I don't even know what the schedule is. See, this is how this is how green I am. But yeah, eventually, hopefully I'm actually going to a real race one of those weeks. Hopefully, it's not the same week as that one, because that would make me very upset. Yeah. But yeah, whatever it is, man, I'll be ready. We'll show up and give it a best run we can. All
right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Just thanks to you guys, thanks to the league admins and everybody setting this up, and I can't wait to go back and watch the broadcast.
Awesome stuff. No worries. Take care, Chris, and I'll catch up with you soon, buddy. All right, there you go. That was Chris Hannigan. Now let's have a chat with the Sean Bradley Flying Donut Simpsons anime machine here as well in that Ford Mustang. Sean, welcome into the booth there, buddy. How are you?
I'm a little bit tired. I got to pee pretty bad, but otherwise I'm good.
Okay, well, just hold it for 2 seconds. A little bit longer, but yeah, don't do it there as well, unless you've got a spare bottle. Sean, overall for you, not a bad race. Started in 9th, managed to get up to 2nd. Looked like a nice clean run, to be fair. You know, I can't really say that you had any major drama moments because nobody did, obviously. But for you, it looked nice, clean, comfortable in second place.
Yeah, no, it was pretty much like just setting your pace kind of race. I burnt up my right sides a little bit trying to fight the 24 early, but he was just so blind fast. I couldn't keep up with him, and I just faded back. But, you know, later into the run, I thought Al was going to catch me. I don't know how it kept on bay. Maybe he just got too arrow tight to get up to me. But no, it worked out at the end there. He made a great move, pretty wide. That restart, I thought he was going to get me there too.
Yeah, well, Al, we obviously spoke to Al during the caution there as well, and he did say that, you know, he's going to go. He's quite happy with a top 5, is Al. You know what I mean? Give him a top 5.
Yes.
He'll take it before he even starts. If he said to him, Al, you don't have to race tonight, here's 5th, he'll be like, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to go and put my slippers on. But overall, he did say he was going to go for it. Now, we've asked everybody else. We just asked Chris as well. Did you take 4 on that last pit stop, or did you only take 2?
No, I took 4. I think it was just Kyle that took the 2 in the top 5 at least. I have no idea if anybody else tried that.
No, I don't think he did, and he was 4 seconds quicker than literally everybody else in the field. You know what I mean? But going forward, though, Sean, for you, at the end of the day, that's you sitting in 3rd. You know, not gain some points back on Chris. It's going to put you a little bit closer there as well. Aspirations for the championship, are we going to see you up there fighting it out, scrapping it away until the very end? Or are you going to be having a break and going on holiday?
No, I'd like to scrap it out. I'm hoping that I can get some W's to get up there. I don't want to point my way up to the top like this. You know, that's the second time I've come into second place here. So, you know, one more spot and I'll be happy. And yeah, then I'll be in a good position to fight for the championship, I think.
Sean, I'd just like to point out as well, mate, you know, championships have been won without people winning races. Don't have to win the races, mate. You just got to score the points.
This is for my personal satisfaction.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. I understand that, to be fair, but just for now, concentrate on finishing. Sean, you're doing a great job there, buddy, as well. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Don't have any shout outs at the moment, but thanks for asking.
No worries at all, Sean. Well, you have a good time. Enjoy the rest of your week there, bud, and maybe we'll catch up with you again.
You too. Thanks.
Take care. Right, now we are going to have a chat with your race winner, that number 25 Sexy Wall Trip Chevrolet Camaro. The man who I am going to ask the question, but I got a funny feeling I'm going to know the answer to already. Did he take 2? Did he take 4 in that final pit stop? He must have taken 2, but let's find out ourselves. Welcome in, Carl. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, and yes, I did take 2 tires.
Woo! Well done, Kenan. You got it right. What was your tire? What was your left front on by the time you got across the line? Do you know?
My left front tire was 70, and then my left rear was 50. But you have these tracks where like the Nextgen uses up the left rear a ton, and you can kind of feel it. Like I think like Charlotte, where you kind of you feel how the car kind of comes off the corner and it's using that left rear tire. Here didn't really feel like it, so I was like, I'm sitting where I am, and I want to progress and have track position. So I just took the 2 tires, and I was surprised it actually stuck as well as it did going into 3 and 4 the first time.
Well, to be fair though, mate, you were the only one that did. Now, you can go and give Al Corey a bucket load of grief, right? Because when I interviewed him during that last caution, he said Kyle is not going to hold it on 2 tires. Right? His words, no lie. You can go and give him a bucket load of grief now, because not only did you hold it, but you took the win as well. And that going forward for you is a great point gainer, of course, as well. You know, you're not in the top 10 of the standings at the moment, Carl. So what's the plan for you, do you think, over as the season progresses? Because surely you got to be progressing up through that table, right?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at it right now. It updated. I'm currently 4th. So we are... right behind Hannigan in the 84, Bradley in the, I'm new to some of these people, Bradley in the 77, Al in the 45. So yeah, we're right up there. Not a great first 2 rounds of the season. Was looking forward to Bristol, and Bristol ended up being a absolute travesty. So
train wreck is the word. train wreck. Let's there as well. But, you know, going forward, let's start seeing you move up. You have just jumped 8 places with that one win there, Carl. That's an absolutely amazing feat, and well done for you. Let's see how much further you can get up this grid. But for now, Carl, anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Yeah, let's shout out the league, of course. Great racing. Been with these guys for probably like 3-ish years now. And then, yeah, shout out my YouTube channel. I stream every race I do. So this race for my POV is available. Sexy Wall Trip on YouTube. Check it out. I also do some Motorsport Manager or F1 Manager stuff as well.
Well, there you go, guys. I did say go and check him out. I did already shout you out halfway through the broadcast, Carl. I'm not going to lie. There as well. So well done to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And, well, once again, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
Well, there you go, Ken. And everybody seemed fairly upbeat. You know, Carl Gretsch coming out. Yes, I took 2. You know what I mean?
Told you. Called it.
Did you really know?
Yeah, I said in the last stint, if you're in position, or if it comes down to getting in there and needing to get out fast to gain a couple positions, throw on 2 and get out there. It will help for that. It'll help you jump at least 1 or 2 people. I was wrong on the amount of people, but I was right. He did jump, got to the front, and I have 50% left of his rear left tire is insane. I would have ended up spinning and just doing donuts, like looking like, you know, one of the Mario Kart drivers when they got hit by a green shell. But he held it and it looked good.
He did. He did hold it, and he did an incredible job there as well. So well done to Carl Gretsch, who took the victory here at Texas. Don't forget, guys, we've got more coming up on the JPB YouTube channel as well. And join us over the weekend. We have got the launch of the JPB TCR Championship. It's the American Tour Championship Season 2, starting off at the Sonoma Cup Historic Circuit. So join us for that one for the All-American Canadian tracks this season as well. Then we go on to the Virtual World Sports Car Championship, their historic 98 season. That's kicking off from Donington. Then we got F3s on Sunday, 2 doses of F3s from the iFormula F3 series and the IGP fun as well. So you can join us both for that one. But I think that's just about to wrap it up tonight here, guys, as well. I've been James Parfitt alongside Ken and Sportec up here in the booth. Thank you very so much for joining us. But for now, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.